welcome to my channel. This is Sandra from Cheeky Code Nail Innovations. Today I'm going to continue on with some pigment work to show you how to do an ombre. We're going to be working with a tip where it's painted with white gel polish. I'll also be using matte on top coat. You can have gloss at the end if you like. I've got 2 colors, and then I'll be working as doing a second tip with 3 colors. So the first one will be with yellow and pink. The brushes that I'll be using are this small eyeshadow detailer brush. It's quite a firm bristle brush. I've also got this mop brush to dust off. Or you can use a fluffy brush like this one to dust off, where it's like a kabuki brush. I've also got this other one here where it's nice and soft bristled like a kabuki brush. I prefer this one because then it's just over the tip of the nail. I'll also be using my detail brush because I'll be doing a design with lines and swirls over the top once I've done my ombre look. For the lines and swirls, I'll be using the Gel Play Paint Line It Black from Accents. Okay, let's begin by, I've already done 1 coat of the white gel polish, so I'm going to do a second coat to work on my tip. Nice evenly spread and into the light for 30 seconds. So on my surface, on my desk, I'm using a wet wipe that I've placed just on the top, and on top of that I've got a dry lint-free wipe here. This is to clean my brush of the dust between colors. I'll bring in my pink pigment. As you can see, the wet wipe is already capturing the flyaway dust, so it keeps your area nice and clean. I'm going to begin with the yellow at the tip of the tip, so at the bottom here, and the pink is going to start from the top down. There will be an area in the middle where I want to blend them nicely so they don't go look like there's a straight line across the tip. So this will be a horizontal ombre. Okay, going to start with the yellow, being that it's not the brightest of the 2, it's not as strong, and working my way up in a dabbing motion, just working my way up like that. I've gone beyond halfway mark in purpose, so that way I can then blend my pink. I'm going to add the pink from the tip, from the back down, but before I reach the yellow, I'm going to then clean my brush and work from the yellow up to meet that pink. Clean my brush before I put it onto the yellow and add yellow down here. And this is now where I'm going to be creating the blend of the 2 colors. I've created a beautiful orange in the center, so all of a sudden I have 3 colors here. Keep on blending to be able to get rid of this line of colour that's here. A little bit of pink on the way down, just to make it stronger up the top there, and working it down, blending it down all the way. More yellow. It all depends on how much yellow you want to show in this design. And I'm working my yellow all the way up. Bringing down a little bit of pink again. Beautiful. There's a little bit of brush marks here where the yellow is, but because the yellow is quite fluoro, I'm happy with the fact that I don't have much yellow. I keep adding until I get the definition of colour that I'm after. If I go ahead and I'm sort of like I brush on like this, I'm using quite a lot of force. As you can see, I'm removing colour. That's because I'm using the wrong technique. I'm actually brushing down. I've removed all the work that I've done and the layers of colour that I've added. So it's important to actually use a dabbing motion. I'll clean my brush. I'm not on a wet wipe. And I'll add my colour. Dab, dab, dab. I'm going to restart this to show you properly because I showed you this was the wrong technique. So I'm going to show you on the other white tip that I prepared earlier. So this also has the two colors of the white gel polish. There's an inhibition layer on there, and we'll start again to show you what I'm after. Let's start with the yellow yet again, and we're dabbing gently, gently, right to where I want it, like that. Dab your brush on the dry wipe and pick up your pink. And I'm starting at the front, at the top. Yes, there's still a little bit of yellow in amongst that pink, but that's okay because we're working it down to meet the yellow anyways. Dabbing, dabbing. I need to add some more and keep adding. I'm going to add the yellow from the pink down, working down, working down. Add the yellow, dabbing, dabbing, covering all the white, working down. This time I'm going to go from the yellow up and working up to the pink. I have a strong mark of a line and defining the two colours. I'm going to start at the top of the pink again and working down. Working down. I don't want that much yellow, so I'm going to keep on coming down with the pink to blend it into the yellow. There's a bit of orange. There's a gradual gradient into that pink. Just getting another clean wipe to keep on cleaning my brush. Picking up the yellow again and going from the yellow up. Picking up more yellow and blending. You can go as high as you like with the yellow. And then I'll come back down with the pink and accentuate the edge of the pink at the top where it's the strongest. Wipe my brush, pick it up again and do the same. And work it up to the pink. More of the yellow. Dabbing. That's what I'm doing, but I'm doing it faster. Like that. Pink, just to finish off that edge at the top. See how I'm always cleaning my brush of any excess. With my dust brush, I'll go ahead and just clean off the excess dust, letting anything fall on the wet wipe that's on the desk. That way the desk doesn't get all dirty. If this was on a client, you would have used something around her skin. There's a protector that you can use, which is like a tape or a glue that you can use. Once I removed the excess, I've just added a little bit more of the yellow to get more of my gradient, and then I'm coming back down with the pink. See the gradient of orange to yellow to pink, yellow, orange, pink that's in the tip. Okay, beautiful. I'm going to now dust that off again with my nice mop brush and top coat it with some matte top coat. The reason I'm doing matte is because I'm going to do some line work over the top and I don't want the shine to come from behind. As you can see, I am dabbing my top coat on the colour. I am not dragging it down. This way I don't get the colours all blended down the tip by brushing it. I'm keeping this gradient, floating the top coat over the top. Like that. Okay, into the light to cure for 30 seconds. So here the tip has just come out of the light after curing for 30 seconds, and it has an inhibition layer. So I will go ahead and wipe that off with some cleanser, and it's ready for the design. For the design, I'll be using the Gel Play Paint Liner Black from Accents. I'm just going to scoop some out with my silicone brush that I've got here, just this one. Giving it a little bit of a stir. Always needs to be stirred, this gel, before to blend the pigment back in before you actually work with it. Taking some onto the palette, and if you're not sure, on the pots it says stir before use. I have the mini liner here, which is quite small but beautiful for refined work. So I'm going to go ahead, I've cleaned the surface. There's a dot of something on there, so I'll just clean that off. Okay, I'm going to first of all prime my brush with the gel, making sure that the colour is going through the bristles, just by on the side here, just jiggling the paint in through the bristles. I'll get a dry lint-free wipe and clean off. The brush is then supple and ready for working with. Picking up with the tip of the brush and bringing it out from the huge amount of product that's on there. I'm going to do some lines and swirls. So lines and swirls is basically dots and lines joined together in C shapes or in S shapes or half S shapes. I'm just going to do some lines and swirls. First of all, I'm going to do a dot, and I'm going to go round and round in a tight little swirl like so. Going to do a dot here and going round to a tight to join that swirl. I'm going to do another dot here, away from it, and I'm going to try and do a swirl this way, like that. In here, and in we go. Now I'm getting my creative happening, and around. And into there. It's like doing little commas. Going to do a dot up here, going to go to the side and into the center there. Picked up a little bit, going to go just above it, through the dot to the other side, like that. It's like creating a little leaf. Going to do the same up here. One, bringing it down. I'm going to go below it, doing a dot, going around and bringing it down, and then I'm going to turn my tip upside down with that dot and just doing a little bit of a comma there. Join that in together by adding another swirl back here. Just like that. Swirl. Doing a couple of little dots with just the tip of my brush underneath that, just 3. And because you start with one at the beginning, it's got the most product, so then you go another and another, they get smaller and smaller. Around this one here, I'll do another little bit of a swirl, a dot. And this one I'm going to go into the dot and just create a little tip like that. It's however you want to create this. Dot again and round, but not joining, like that. And then you can go into that dot and again just stretch it out. This is almost finished in my view. Your clients would love it as well. It's got like a fiery look to it. Let me just do a little bit in here. I am just dipping, literally dipping the tip of my brush into the colour, into the paint. And just to finish off, I'm going to do a dot here, or you can always finish in here with a crystal if you like. Into the light to cure for 30 seconds. So there it's come out of the light after being in there for 30 seconds. But I'm sort of wanting to take the starkness of the black away from it. So I've got this powder here, which is a pigment powder, and it's like a magic powder, because although it looks white, it has got a reddy color behind it. When you put it over a black, that red tends to stand out. You can see it there a little bit. So I'm going to just basically use the inhibition layer that's on that black and rub that powder over it. With my dust brush, I'll remove the excess and see how it's changed it and softened it a bit. It's actually got more character. It's got a bit of a spark. You can leave it black, it's just your choice. I'm going to now top coat that with gloss to seal that powder in. With the powder over the black, it will only show up when there's a specific light or the way that the light shines on it. It's subtle, and people will sort of want to have a second look at the whole design. Into the light for 30 seconds. And there you have the finished design. Beautiful. I'll see you in the next video to show you more than 2 colors of pigment.